All right, Steelers Nation, buckle up because the drama surrounding Kenny Pickett just hit another level. From the moment he was drafted in the 2022 NFL Draft, there was a lot riding on his shoulders. The Pittsburgh Steelers saw him as the next big thing, the heir to the throne left by Ben Roethlisberger. Local kid, played at Pitt, knew the city, the fans, the culture. He was supposed to be the perfect fit. But fast forward just 2 years, and that dream is already over. Pickett's time in Pittsburgh came to a sudden and messy end after he requested a trade, feeling completely betrayed by the team's decision to bring in Russell Wilson ahead of the 2024 season. And honestly, you can't blame the guy for being upset. One day you're being called the future of the franchise, the next you're watching a Super Bowl champion walk in to take your spot. Now let's rewind and unpack how this all went down. Kenny Pickett's rookie season wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't terrible either. He showed flashes of potential, some clutch moments, and had a few promising drives that gave fans a reason to believe he could develop into something special. But the inconsistency was clear. Part of that came from the offense itself, an offense that looked outdated and sluggish under coordinator Matt Canada. Despite all that, the Steelers stuck with Canada for far too long, and that decision might have cost them Pickett's development. Instead of building an offensive system around their young quarterback, they forced him into a scheme that never quite fit his strengths. It was like trying to shove a square peg into a round hole. Everyone could see it wasn't working, but the coaching staff kept insisting it would eventually click. When the Steelers brought in Russell Wilson, the message was clear. They weren't waiting anymore. They wanted a win-now veteran presence under center, someone they believed could take them back to the playoffs immediately. But for Pickett, that move was a punch to the gut. He felt the organization had turned its back on him before he ever really had the chance to show what he could do with a proper supporting cast. That's when he demanded a trade, and got it. Pittsburgh sent him off to the Philadelphia Eagles, where he spent time as a backup and even got to experience the thrill of winning a Super Bowl. Sure, he wasn't the one throwing the touchdowns, but that ring still looks the same. Still, even with the celebration, it had the stinging knowing he could have been doing more. Then came another twist. In the 2025 offseason, the Eagles traded Pickett again, this time to the Cleveland Browns. And now he finds himself in yet another quarterback battle, trying to carve out a role and prove to everyone that he still belongs in this league. For a guy who was once seen as the future in Pittsburgh, it's been a chaotic ride. But here's where things get even more intense. On a recent episode of the Morning Mayhem show, Steelers legend Terry Bradshaw went off. Like full-on rant mode, he didn't hold back at all. Bradshaw straight up said the Steelers failed Kenny Pickett. According to him, the team didn't protect the young quarterback, didn't give him the right tools to succeed, and didn't build a system that helped him grow. They didn't protect him. They didn't give him an offensive line. They couldn't protect. And they didn't have weapons, Bradshaw said during the interview. And coming from someone who's worn the black and gold and brought Super Bowls to the city, those words carry weight. Bradshaw pointed out something that many fans have been saying for a while. The offensive line in Pickett's era was mediocre. At best, they struggled to open up running lanes and couldn't consistently protect their quarterback. Pickett was under pressure far too often, and that affects a young quarterback's confidence. When you're constantly running for your life, it's hard to read the field, make progressions, and play with poise. And then, on top of that, you've got a coordinator whose play calling left a lot to be desired. The combination was toxic, and it dragged down any momentum Pickett might have been building. Now, Bradshaw did stretch the truth a bit when he claimed Pickett had no receivers to speak of. That's not exactly accurate. The Steelers had Deontay Johnson, a solid route runner, and George Pickens, a rising talent who was drafted the same year as Pickett. While it's fair to say the Steelers didn't have an elite receiver core, to act like there was no one to throw to is definitely an exaggeration. Still, the larger point stands. The offensive infrastructure just wasn't there to help a young quarterback thrive. And then came Bradshaw's knockout punch. He wasn't a failure. The Steelers were a failure. That line hit hard. Because when a franchise quarterback says that about your team, people listen. He also went on to indirectly criticize head coach Mike Tomlin, blaming the leadership for allowing this dysfunction to continue. Bradshaw didn't name Tomlin directly in every statement, but the implication was clear. Tomlin's decisions, especially keeping Matt Canada around, played a major role in how everything unraveled. And let's be honest here, Tomlin's not exactly sitting pretty right now. He hasn't won a playoff game since the 2016 season, and the fan base is getting restless. There's a growing feeling that the Steelers have been stuck in neutral for years now. They're never bad enough to rebuild and get top draft picks, but they're also not good enough to make real noise in the postseason. It's that dreaded middle ground, and it's where teams go to die slowly. So now, as we head into the 2025 season, all eyes are on Tomlin. This could be a make or break year for his legacy in Pittsburgh. The addition of Russell Wilson was supposed to be the solution, but if that doesn't pan out, the criticism will only grow. Louder! Because for a franchise that prides itself on excellence and tradition, mediocrity just isn't acceptable. And when former legends like Bradshaw start calling you out publicly, it's a sign that the pressure is reaching a boiling point. The tension surrounding the Steelers heading into the 2025 season isn't just about a quarterback, controversy, or a couple of bad coaching decisions. It's about the identity of the franchise itself. For decades, Pittsburgh has been synonymous with hard-nosed football, smart drafting, and a culture of stability. But lately, that foundation feels like it's been cracking. The departure of Kenny Pickett might just be a symptom of a larger issue brewing behind the scenes. Fans are asking tough questions. Is Mike Tomlin still the right leader for this team? Have the Steelers lost their edge in adapting to the modern NFL? And perhaps most pressing, can they bounce back, or is the decline already underway? Terry Bradshaw's comments lit a firestorm for a reason. They didn't just critique the handling of a young quarterback, they peeled back the curtain on an organization that, despite its proud history, seems to be fumbling the future. When Bradshaw questioned the team's pursuit of Aaron Rodgers, even going as far as to call it a joke, it wasn't just about Rodgers, it was about the inconsistency in decision-making. On one hand, the Steelers were supposedly building around Pickett. On the other, they were entertaining the idea of bringing in a four-time MVP at the tail end of his career. That kind of mixed messaging sends shockwaves through the locker room and makes it impossible to build a coherent identity. Pickett's development suffered from that lack of clarity. In the NFL, young quarterbacks need structure. They need a coaching staff that tailors the system to their strengths, surrounds them with reliable weapons, and gives them time to make mistakes without immediately fearing for their job. Pickett didn't have that luxury. The pressure was sky high from the beginning, and the support system around him was shaky at best. When you're constantly looking over your shoulder, wondering if the next interception means the end of your starting job, it becomes almost impossible to grow. That's not just poor management, that's organizational failure. And let's not ignore the impact this situation could have on the locker room. Players talk. They see how the front office treats one of their own. If they believe the team is quick to turn its back on young talent, especially one that was supposed to be the face of the franchise, it sends a message. Stability breeds loyalty, but chaos breeds doubt. With veterans like Cam Hayward and Minkah Fitzpatrick holding down the leadership roles, they're probably watching how this all plays out very closely. The wrong move could lead to deeper problems within the team culture, something that has been the bedrock of the Steelers' success for years. Russell Wilson now steps into a volatile situation. He's not just here to win games. He's here to win over a skeptical fan base and a locker room that just watched one of their own get cast aside. Wilson brings experience, no doubt. He's been to the top, he's played in the biggest games, and he knows what it takes to win. But he's also coming off a rocky stint in Denver, where things didn't exactly go as planned. If he struggles early, it won't take long for frustration to boil over in Pittsburgh. The honeymoon period will be short, and every missed throw will be magnified under the microscope of fan scrutiny and media pressure. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling in the NFL world as reports suggest that Kirk Cousins, the veteran quarterback known for his consistent performances, could be heading to Pittsburgh in a move that has fans buzzing with excitement. Sources hint at a grand arrival for Cousins in the Steel City, with whispers of a celebratory welcome as he prepares to potentially sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cousins, who has carved out a reputation for steady leadership and reliable playmaking, might be exactly what the Steelers need to stabilize their quarterback situation. Pittsburgh has long been searching for that dependable signal caller to lead their offense back to prominence, and the arrival of Cousins could signal a new era for the franchise. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the possibility alone is enough to ignite speculation across fan bases and media outlets alike. The idea of Cousins joining the Steelers has sparked countless debates. Could his experience and skill set be the missing piece for Pittsburgh's offense? Known for his accurate arm and ability to perform under pressure, Cousins offers a blend of veteran savvy and competitive fire that could mesh well with the Steelers' offensive weapons. The team's front office, always calculated in its moves, might see this as a chance to bring in a seasoned leader who can immediately impact the field. Further fueling the rumor mill, reports mention an eventful welcome party in Pittsburgh, suggesting that the franchise is eager to make a splash with this potential signing. It wouldn't be surprising if the Steelers aim to boost morale and signal to fans that big changes are underway. The franchise, which has endured some struggles at the quarterback position in recent years, might be ready to bet on Cousins as the steady hand to guide their offense back to playoff contention. Though the contract details remain under wraps and no official announcement has been made, insiders hint that discussions are well underway. With free agency movements heating up, the Steelers could be making a strategic move to secure a proven quarterback, while others chase younger, less experienced prospects. Cousins' potential arrival could reshape the dynamics of the AFC North and shake up the entire conference. As Pittsburgh fans hold their breath, the excitement around Cousins' possible signing continues to build. Whether this rumor will materialize into a confirmed deal is yet to be seen, but the buzz is undeniable. Kirk Cousins in black and gold. It might just be the headline the Steelers have been waiting for. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.